So you're located, like Clutch Coffee is located in North Carolina, and how many
Yeah,
locations you have?
yeah, North Carolina and South Carolina.
So,
We're about to open location number 17 next week.
oh, wow. Okay, 17, right? Do you do you have a franchise model as well, on only like your own?
These are all company owned, so we own all of them right now. Currently not franchised.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Uh, so what are your plans, like growth plans for the rest of this year?
So this year we will open one more next week and then one more in October. And I think that will give us 5 for the year. So that will be the end of ones opening this year. And then we have 2 or 3 so far for next year, but working on some additional ones.
Okay. How long have you been running this business?
Started it in 2018. So we are 7.5 years in now.
Okay, that's interesting. But what was like the decision-making point to start that business?
So that's a really good question. When I worked for Dutch Bros Coffee, which was the largest privately owned coffee chain. Now they're public. They have over 1,000 locations now. I started when they had 30, and I worked there. I really wanted to franchise with them. And I was several years into the progress on getting to that spot, and they changed their model to where they weren't going to do any more franchising, and it was just going to be company owned stores. And at that point in my career, I was not only managing a location for Dutch Bros, I was also doing medical device sales full time. So I had another full time career on top of that. And I really wanted to have ownership and equity, right? I didn't want to just be an employee. So when they changed that for the final time, it just really pushed and inspired me to want to go start my own. So I spent about 1.5 years getting my ducks in a row, and then ended up leaving my medical device career and focusing on getting my own brand going. And that's when Clutch started, and we've been focused on that ever since.
Awesome. Look, I always admire like people who can, who keep moving, who are not stopping. Like you're coming from sales. Like they say, the neglections is our fuel. I mean,
Yep.
if someone like denies your offer, then it's should only motivate us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It
Nice.
inspired me for sure.
Okay, but what keeps you still like keeps what do you think what do you think keeps still you up and running business?
A couple things specifically. I mean, number one is the culture we've created and the experience that we deliver to customers. So if you don't have that great relationship with customers, you won't retain them and get them to come back or become their go-to place. So we really emphasize that experience. And it's everything from the music that's playing outside on the drive-through as you pull up to kind of
Okay.
set a certain environment. Our order takers are outside taking an order face to face, not using a speaker to take orders.
I hate that.
Yeah, it's just very personal and personable. And then the second thing is the quality of what we're offering. It'd be much easier for us and much more affordable to use a lower grade of quality of coffee or the energy drinks that we use. We really pride ourselves on having a premium product, especially with how much of an increase there's been in prices in coffee. If you're going to charge $5 or $6 for a latte, it better be fantastic. So quality is another big one. And then speed. People have places to go. We are not the destination, but we are the fuel along the journey. And so helping people and being respectful of their time to go quickly, I think is important.
Wow, amazing. But do your employees who take orders, do they also ask the name of the person to personalize? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll ask them if they're a Clutch loyalty member, and that usually is either scanning a QR code on their Clutch app, or it is taking their phone number, which then goes into our system. We can see their name, right? And especially with regular customers, you kind of get to recognize and know them on a first name basis. And so that relationship grows there. Sometimes it's writing their name on the lid or a note, or, just learning more about them. And hey, how was the barbecue that you hosted last week? Or what did you get? How is work going? So just really, really focusing on a personal relationship.
Wow, that's a very interesting way to personalize your service and collect data.
And yes, and collect data. Yes, important.
Great. So I also noticed that you have a clutch cares program.
Yep.
I checked it. It's like huge. You have so many different. I don't know how to call it. Donation programs inside.
Yeah, we really pride ourselves on being part of the community everywhere that we are located, and that's not just saying things, but actually taking action and having an impact. So a lot of different causes. Sometimes they're at a very local level. Sometimes they're a grander, national level. But really wanting to support our community and be a vehicle that drives positive things for communities and for people. So that's a big part of what we do.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I really admire it. So you have so many locations and across 2 states, and what has been the most operational challenging for you so far?
Finding great people. I think people are the number one thing. We have some phenomenal leaders. I just wish I could replicate them and find more of those. I think strong people is the core of probably the biggest challenge. Is then that if you have strong people, it will allow you to have better consistency of expectations. When we had just 1 or 2 stores and I was inside the store every day, a lot easier to control the output of our operations, of our relationship building. But you have to learn to trust and delegate others as you grow. And so, I think finding the best people is always going to be number one.
Yeah, and I guess you should have some solid onboarding and training program as well.
Yes. And our head of growth, our director of growth, her name is Mo. She is phenomenal. She's the best at culture building and implementing the training. It really is important to have the right foundation up front, because if you don't invest that time, it's going to come back and bite you later with people that don't know what they're doing or are letting down.
Right. Are you tracking any KPIs or OKRs?
Yeah. We have a handful of KPIs that we look at on a weekly basis. So beyond our sales, we're also looking at our discount levels. We're looking at cost of goods, making sure that we're in line there. We look at our reviews. So every week we're looking at store by store to see what our reviews were, across Google, DoorDash, et cetera. And then if there's any opportunities where someone left a less than ideal score, we're reaching out to them directly and asking them for more information so that we can, prevent it from happening again.
I see. So you also, like, for delivery, you also use third-party services. DoorDash, you mentioned. Uber Eats, I guess, right?
Just DoorDash right now. They have the majority of the market share in the Carolinas where we are. So we just rolled out DoorDash about 2 months ago. And, so far it's been a nice addition.
Yesterday, I spoke with a restaurant chain owner, and he said that they're using DoorDash and Uber Eats, and they have such a strict requirement that the price should be the same as in the restaurant. So you are not allowed to increase the price, but they cut around 25 to 30% of your margin.
Yeah, so for our experience with DoorDash, we were allowed or able to mark up the price the exact same amount that DoorDash charges for their fee. So I forget if it was around 20%, 18 to 20%. But we were able to offset that, you know, percent for percent. Initially, I actually wanted to increase it a little bit higher to just account for things that a drink has to get remade or a customer is unhappy and we need to give them a free drink. Those types of things do happen. But DoorDash was pretty specific that we could not mark it up more than the percentage that they were marking up. So it was a 1-for-1 in terms of the amount that we increased it by.
Okay. Besides drinks, do you also offer some snacks?
Yeah. So we have a couple different things. We have they're called muffin tops, but we have muffins. We 3 different kinds there. We also have it's a little bit newer cake pops, which are going really, really well, and that's a really exciting thing for us, similar to what Starbucks has. And then some of our stores are piloting hot breakfast sandwiches right now. About half of our stores have that, and that was a number one ask from customers was help me be able to get my full breakfast along with my coffee here.
Wow, interesting. I wonder at what daytime or the most traffic comes.
Yeah, 50% of our traffic comes between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. So by our morning shift ends at 11 a.m. Almost at every single store, half of our business for the whole day is by 11 a.m.
And how do you tackle this traffic increase?
You have to be strategic. When stores get really busy at those peak times, we will add more staff. So we'll have, instead of just 1 espresso bar running inside, we'll have 2. Instead of 1 order taker outside, we'll have 2, maybe 3. It just depends on how busy they are, but we monitor those volumes each week to make sure that we are not understaffing, to make sure we still keep our speed.
So it's relevant for the both states, right?
Yes.
I see. Yeah, that's interesting. What on your opinions? What do you think? What part of the business needs like immediate improvement right now?
It's a really good question. I think the consistency with our hourly employees, even if we have great leaders, great managers, just really making sure that every single interaction is a clutch interaction, is a great experience. Because ultimately those customers are the ones that allow us to get paid, to have a paycheck. So just making sure, we have a lot of younger staff, a lot of people, it's their first or second job, which is fine. But teaching them those life skills on customer service and on being a servant leader, I think there's always room to grow, to be more consistent there.
Okay, yeah, thank you. How did you get through the COVID times?
It was interesting. 2 parts to that. One, it was a lot of organization and management and creative staffing, because during COVID, if someone got COVID, that's one thing, but then the tracing of who did they come in contact with and how long do they have to be away from the store, that was challenging. We had to create spreadsheets of who was out, who was traced. It was a process. So communication and organization was key. We actually grew during the first year of COVID. We grew 30%. And I think we were lucky because we were already set up as a drive-through coffee business. So we were not, if we had been a sit-down cafe, we probably would have had to close, or it would have been a lot slower. But because we were set up to already have distance and for people to just grab their drink and go, it worked out well for us.
Right. During COVID, has the amount of online orders increased?
We didn't have online ordering set up at that time. So it was still, and looking back, we probably should have. We now have third party like DoorDash, and then we also have mobile ordering through our own app. Both of those are about 2 to 3% of our total sales. So I think it's, at this juncture, it's a really nice you have to have it. Customers expect it. But we didn't have that during COVID times.
I see. So a lot of chains that I talked to, they mentioned that online ordering works, but they're not sure where they are losing customers. How do you track where drop-offs are happening?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because you look and say, oh, we've got, we had 20 mobile orders today, right? Are those all incremental, or were those people that were going to come to the drive-through, but now just had the option to mobile order or use DoorDash? And so if you can't really triangulate it well, other than looking at the big picture, which is how much is the store growing sales wise relative to the same time last year, or the same, the prior month. So we kind of look at it on a macro scale, because you say, hey, was this person going to come in the drive-through? We're not sure. Did that being on DoorDash allow them, they couldn't get away from the office from work and they were able to have it delivered? It's kind of a hard thing to measure. So really the biggest thing is, are we growing, at a pretty substantial rate? More so than, if our growth rate is higher than the increase of sales from mobile ordering or DoorDash, then we know it's accretive, but we just, you can't, hard to say how much it's replacing.
I see. Right. So regarding the loyalty program, most of those loyalty program, they are they end up becoming like discount engines. Do you feel yours is driving actual repeat behavior?
Yes and no. Yes, it's driving repeat, and we do a lot of things to incentivize additional, point multipliers. So double point day, triple point day, those things. So I do believe it drives loyalty, and I do believe that it drives repeat business. Having said that, there is a certain expectation where customers will redeem certain things, or we'll use the program to discount certain things or do an exclusive offer just through the app. So it's kind of a necessary evil. If you don't have it, I think people will compare you instantly to other places they go that do have it. So you've got to have something. The biggest thing is understanding how you're going to run your loyalty. Like we started off, all the old coffee places like 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, it was a very standard program of buy 10 drinks and get one free. And that has since evolved to a point-based system. We do it, Starbucks does it, Dutch Bros does it. Point-based system where you earn a certain number of points for every dollar spent. And then that way it allows us, they can redeem for different drinks, but at different levels of points. So it allows us to better control, somebody gets a small drink 5, 6, 10 times, and then they get a big one that's twice as expensive with their free. It allows us to control that more. So, and you gamify it for customers and make it fun with points.
Okay, yeah. And regarding retention, how do you measure it? What metrics you have?
Yeah, we look at a couple things. One is total loyalty participation. So right now as a system, we're about 82% of our transactions are loyalty based. So almost 5 out of every 6 transactions, people are using their loyalty login to do it. And then we also look at what percentages of people are dropping off. Like what percent of churn do we have where someone stops visiting Clutch for one reason or another? And then how can we win them back or aim to win them back? So we will have an automatic drip campaign that sends them a message at 2 weeks if they haven't been by for 2 weeks, another one at 4 weeks, and then the most aggressive one at 6 weeks to try to win them back. So looking at our churn, the number of people that we lose, the number of new signups, and then also the loyalty percentage of participation.
Wow, a solid approach, I would say.
We try. Yeah. There's always more to learn and more to improve upon, but a good foundation.
Yeah, sure. If I were to come to you today and ask you for a franchise, would you be open to it?
Great question.
I'm based in Germany. Let's bring Clutch to Germany.
Well, let me ask you that, like, we are entertaining some people that have floated ideas of taking and scaling and franchising it. My question to you is, how do you think drive-through coffee in general would be received or is received in Western Europe?
Well, it's a pretty common thing, I would say, drive-throughs. But, however, I haven't ever tried a drive-through. Okay, McDonald's and other fast foods, yeah, that's a common thing. But roasteries, I haven't tried it. I haven't experienced it.
And I think part of that is having spent some time in Europe, I think the cultural around coffee of taking your time, it's more social, you're enjoying, is definitely different than Americans tend to be a little impatient and want to just grab it and go. And so it's, I think there's definitely demand for coffee. But in that setting, would that work? I've wondered that aloud a few times. But yeah, we may, to answer your question, we may be looking at some franchise potential in the future. We're kind of assessing a few pitches that have been given to us.
I see. Yeah, that's interesting how it will play out eventually. Okay, my last question is, if you had a magic wand and you were allowed to use one time for your business, what would you do?
If I had a magic wand for the business, I would double our sales volumes, because that would put us in a great place to we'd have growth challenges at that point, and it would really challenge us to just become more efficient and faster. So yeah, doubling that would be a fun one to wave.
Okay, how would you achieve doubling your sales? You like open more restaurants, or you like increase the amount of your visitors or your guests?
Increasing the amounts of visits, yeah, for sure. So increasing the amounts of visits from our existing customers, and then going out and finding new customers as well and introducing them to Clutch. And we typically see once people visit us two times, we're pretty sticky in terms of people saying, wow, that was a lot better than what I experienced at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. It was friendlier, it was more affordable, the coffee was better. So it's just getting the horses to the water to drink, so to speak.
Well, I wondered that you spoke about Dunkin' Donuts. From my point of view, so far I have experienced. We have Dunkin' Donuts in Frankfurt, and I wouldn't say that there is any service at all. They just you come in, you tell what you want, you get what you want. Goodbye. Yep. That's it.
It's very transactional, and I would say in the United States, that is how most fast food or drive-through is. It's not service based. It's just, what would you like? Here's your, take your money. The window closes, their back turns. Our window stays open the whole time, and we have someone who's focused there to have that conversation and that relationship.
Wow.
So, people will say, well, how do you feel if you're next to a Dunkin' or a Starbucks? I'm like, I feel great, because I know that we're going to deliver actual true service versus just a transaction.
Yeah, that's true, because even Starbucks, they ask your name, like who we serve to, and then just it's like a process. I am robot, I'm asking your name, and then I wish I would experience like your service, and I can only imagine that it would be much different.
Yeah, and any notes that we write on a lid or on a cup, that's organic and genuine from our crew. That's not required. Like right now, Starbucks is forcing all their employees to write with a Sharpie on every single cup. And it's, I think the thought they have there is that it will become more personal, but by virtue of it being required, it's not personal.
Yeah, you don't feel anything. It's like, why do I have to tell you my name? I don't know you. And
Yeah.
they ask who you are. Oh no. Yeah.
You start using an alias. Tell them you're Mickey Mouse or something, and make them.
Yeah,
say
I always challenge them by, it's like my name is William Shakespeare, or else. But youngsters, they don't know most of them. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Darren, would you be open for another call with